Hi, and welcome back to STL TV, where you can experience St. Louis. I'm your host, Michael C. Anderson, and today I am honored to be joined by Brian Roy, who is the Executive Director of Variety STL, to talk about their new, innovative My Voice program, which eases such concerns and literally gives children a voice. And I am very excited to talk about that. Brian, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Michael, thanks for having us. Appreciate you giving us the time to giving us a voice to talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Of course, this is just a wonderful program. Everything you all do is just wonderful, heartwarming stuff, very necessary work. So for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about what Variety STL does?
So Variety's been here in the St. Louis community. We're coming up on 90 years, and our mission has always been about empowering kids with special needs. And I think the unique way that we approach it is a couple of things. We need to provide access to the tools that kids need to navigate the world every day. So if they have mobility challenges, they need a wheelchair or braces, or if they have hearing or visual needs, or if they're vocally impaired and need assistance with talking. That's what we do. Just as importantly, people need physical therapy and speech therapy and occupational therapy. A lot of that stuff cannot be afforded by everyday families. So Variety's here to step in from when they're born until they turn 21 to help out. But we also think, just as importantly, kids need to be kids. So they need to go to camp in the summer. They need to have performing arts opportunities to be on stage or to sing and dance or be in a choral group to gain that confidence. And so we provide those programs in addition to that adaptive medical equipment and therapy.
Like I said, I just think everything you guys do is wonderful. I, was perusing your website and just everything you do, seeing the kids in plays, seeing the therapy, everything you all do is amazing. And today we are here to talk specifically about the My Voice program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think the My Voice program initiated, again, out of a need, an unmet need that was in the community. In the past, we had provided communication devices for kids who were nonverbal. And those devices in the past maybe started at $5,000 and went up. And that's, again, kind of unattainable by most families. Well, technology advancements have, everything's an app these days, and we've seen that technology in the medical field as well. And so what was a $5,000 device turned into a $300 or $400 app that you could put on an iPad. And so we started doing a lot, purchasing a lot of apps for families because they needed to be able to speak and tell their parents or their siblings or their buddies at school what they had to say. And one thing we realized was if they can't afford the $400 for the app, they probably can't afford the cost of the iPad and the adaptive equipment or cases that need to go with that. So the My Voice program is a new pilot program for us to say, we're going to give you the whole thing. We're going to give you the app that is your communication voice, and we're going to give you the iPad that goes with it. And if you need an adaptive thing for your wheelchair or a special protective case, we're going to give you the whole thing. They cost about $1,000, and we're going to try and meet that unmet need that we're finding here in the community.
So where do you get your funding to do all these wonderful things and help out these families? Because like we were saying, even $500, that's still a lot for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's,
It's one of the many things that kids, families who have a child with special needs, I think the national average is about $20,000 a year they're spending on all the things that they need. So if it's equipment, if it's therapy, if it's extra daycare, if it's transportation, that all adds up. And we've been lucky for almost 90 years here in the St. Louis community to have very generous people. So your viewers, the business community here, that's where we get 90% of our funding. Comes from individual donations, foundations, and corporate grants. So we're funded by the community for the people that are right here in the community.
So a donation to you all will obviously directly affect the community, help out these families and these children that just don't have access to these resources. That's the only thing separating them. They just need these few little tools
Absolutely.
to just help them get where they're going. We all have different paths. We all need special things. All of us do.
Right.
And you're just bridging that gap.
We always say that the kids with differing needs or special needs or a disability, they can do anything that any other kid can do. They'll do it differently, and they'll find a way. They're very adaptable. They'll find a way to do it, but they need those tools. And because, insurance always doesn't cover the cost, these families live through denials from insurance claims their entire lives. And because the resources to meet the growing need, as more and more kids are getting diagnosed earlier and earlier, there's just increasing demand for it. And so Variety steps in and says, from when you're born until you turn 21, there's no caps on the amount of equipment or help you can get. We're going to help you every time you need help. And we're able to do that because there's a community that cares. There's a community that believes that these kids aren't less than. These kids can be every bit, and if not even more so, successful than any other kid. They just need that extra help, and they need those extra tools. And if you think about not being able to talk, at home, not being able to tell your parents you love them, not being able to give your siblings trouble like every other kid does, or not being able to hang out with your classmates, that's incredibly limiting. It slows your advancement in school from a self-esteem standpoint. That affects your confidence. If you can't communicate, you get frustrated, and there's lots of behavioral issues that come along with it. But if you have something as simple as one of these apps and an iPad that talks, it is your voice, and it communicates anything that you want, and it's pretty amazing that such a simple item can be so impactful in a kid's journey.
I think you're exactly right with that. I don't think a lot of people realize with tools like this up here, what do we have right here?
So you're seeing one of the, that's an iPad with this communication device. And the neat thing about it is therapists can customize and meet the kids where they are. So if there are lots of phrases or particular words or particular questions that the kid uses on a daily basis, those will become buttons. And so they can, kids are really intuitive. They might not have ever used an iPad before. There's something ingrained. They know to swipe. And so they can swipe to different screens. And if they have the agility to just be able to point, they can form words, they can type out words, they can hit phrases, they can hit questions, and you'll hear the voice come out. What's really cool is the voices are no longer that generic computer voice. You can customize it for your age and your gender and a dialect. So it sounds like you want to sound. And so that levels the playing field for the kids.
And like we're saying, it just bridges that gap. So can you kind of tell us how important and how impactful is it for these children? Like, do you get to see their faces light up when they finally get to, it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
All kids have trouble communicating and talking at some point.
It's a profound moment, I think, when these kids get this ability. They're no longer frustrated. They're able to really to kind of find their personality and find their voice. And so they've had lots to say. They've had lots of opinions on things, and lots of things to tell family, to tell their physicians on how they're feeling, but really being an integral part of being at school and after school programs. It's a profound moment when the kid finally has this device that eliminates all of those frustrations and that inability to talk.
So what is your all hopes and goals for this program and the rest of your programs?
So that's a great question, because I think when you take a step back and say, why is Variety here? Our mission and vision for the world is that we want to redefine ability. So we want to change the expectations the community has for people with disabilities and kids with special needs. So we want the community to expect more from them. We want them to expect more from themselves. So instead of disability, that has a negative connotation. If we can redefine ability, these kids can do anything. They're just going to do it differently. But I think just as importantly, we say we also want to reimagine possibilities for them. So we want them to reimagine their future and say, why can't I be whatever I want to, attain my dreams, whatever I want to be in life? I'm going to get the tools to do that. And the same with the community. We want the community to expect a lot from these kids. And I think if we redefine what ability means and reimagine what's possible for them, we got a better community and we got a better world. And so that's kind of our vision, and that's why we do the work we do every day.
I just, think all of this is so wonderful, what you're doing. I love that you want them to become independent.
Right.
You expect a lot of them. You want to just get them on the more of a level playing field.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
before we wrap up, I have a couple of these stats that I just had to bring in here. 94% of Variety kids gain the skills they need to experience their world as fully as possible. 94%. 82% of families report seeing the Variety kid gain or maintain independence at home, school, or in the community. And 90% of families report that their child demonstrates belief in themselves, their abilities, and like you were saying, their possibilities.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And that's, at the end of the day, all the programs we do, we want them to be more independent. We want to give them the skills to achieve their goals. We want them to believe in themselves. And with that, look out. Look out, world, because these kids are coming.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me here in studio today. Again, everything you all are doing is just wonderful.
Right.
So thank you very much for joining me. For all you out there, if you have anything to donate, or if you want to learn more or any of that stuff, you can go ahead and check out. Their number is 314-720-7700. You can check out the website, varietystl.org/myvoice. And you can also check them out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Variety STL. And while you're online, you can go ahead and check us out on STL TV's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or you can check out our website, stltv.net. I'm your host, Michael C. Anderson. Thanks for watching, and until next time.